to retire in the Algarve. We will mainly be talking about the amazing lifestyle, the beauty, beaches, weather, how a lifestyle here gives you better health, better wellness, and a better balanced lifestyle, which is also supported by an excellent healthcare service. I am your host today. My name is Carolyn. I'm an Ireland IPBN Algarve committee member, and I'm also the owner of Shebang Events and PR Management. We are a freelance PR, marketing and events team based in the Algarve, United Kingdom, Southern and North of Ireland. And we're very pleased that we took the decision to have our offices in both, because obviously the lifestyle and the benefits that come with that is far superior to what obviously we experience at home in Ireland. Today we have a great panel for you. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce the names 100%, but they will correct me, I'm sure. We have Dr. Paulo de Sousa, Clinical Director and Lead Surgeon from HPA. We have Michael Stock, which is the manager of Quinta dos Vales winery. João Costa, Director of Sales and Marketing in Ombria Resort. And finally, we have Chitra Stern, CEO of the Martinielle group. Can I ask each of you just to give a little introduction about yourselves and your companies? Maybe Dr. Paulo start.
Okay, so my name is Paulo Sousa. I'm a general surgeon and I'm the medical director for HPA Group. Basically, we are a group of 5 hospitals and around 16 clinics that works mainly in the Algarve, Alentejo region and Madeira, now in the island also. We are a group that started working in 1996, so we have been on the market for some years. Our main target and our main development started with the need that we felt that it was necessary to give the right coverage for not only for Portuguese people, but also a lot for the foreigners. We look for the Algarve as a touristic destination or a residence area for retirement plans or for enjoying a bit more of their own life. So we started to develop Alvor in 1996, and further the other hospitals have been opening in 2009, and more recently Madeira opened 2 years ago. So we have a network of units, which the idea is to provide full coverage of healthcare from all medical areas in basically all the areas of the Algarve and Alentejo and also Madeira.
Excellent. And Michael?
Yep, so my name is Michael Stock. I'm here to talk about the funner side of living in the Algarve, specifically wine. So I'm part of the management team of Quinta dos Vales. We're the leading winery here in the Algarve. And my main topic today is going to be our latest project called the Winemaker Experience, where we basically take wine lovers and guide them through all the steps of producing their own wine. So everyone walks away with a production of about 300 bottles per year, with us giving all the consultancy explanation and doing actually all the work.
Excellent. I'm sure people will have lots of questions, Michael, on that one. João?
I am the Director of Sales and Marketing for Ombria Resort, which is a development, a new sustainable luxury development that is being built in inland Algarve, not far from Faro Airport, about 20 kilometers north of Faro Airport. The resort has a land area of around 153 hectares and is surrounded by a peaceful natural landscape of green hills and rivers and authentic villages. At the heart of Ombria Resort, we're building a 5-star hotel, which is going to be managed by an international 5-star hotel brand called Viceroy Hotels and Resorts. And this hotel is under construction and will be finished in the summer of 22. And in addition to the hotel, it will have an 18-hole golf course and several freehold real estate properties for sale that we are building in phases.
Okay, and Chitra?
Hi everyone, this is Chitra Stern. I am, as Caroline said, the CEO of Martinielle Resorts. We my husband and I'm originally a Singaporean of Indian origin and British. I lived 12 years in London, lived for 12 years in London, and moved with my Swiss husband to the Algarve 20 years ago. And we started a resort group called Martinielle, which opened first in 2010. And since then, we've grown that hotel group to 4 hotels and resorts in different parts of Portugal, in Quinta do Lago, in Cascais, in Greater Lisbon, and Chiado. And we are working on our 5th Martinielle, which is a branded residences project in Parque das Nações, Park of Nations in Lisbon. We have also started an international school in the Park of Nations area, and we're building a wider education hub there. You can find out all about me on the internet. Yes, so as far as the Algarve is concerned, my husband and I moved there in 2001, and we had 4 kids while we built up our hotel group, and we only moved in 2016 to Lisbon. So I personally have had 15 years of experience of living in the Algarve in Lagos initially, and then in Sagres on the southwesternmost point of continental Europe.
Okay, excellent. Well, as you know, today is always all about health and wellness. And if anybody is considering a move to the Algarve, obviously it's for an improved lifestyle, and obviously comes with that is a lot of health benefits. Obviously in the Algarve, we are very lucky to have amazing activities, beaches, golf, restaurants, wine. So if you do have any questions for any of the panel, please just pop them into the chat box and we'll try to answer as much as possible for you as we go along. João, I'm just going to come to you first. Today I'm just going to do a sort of conversational series with you all, just to sort of see if we can cover as many aspects for the participants as possible. But you mentioned in your introduction, your resort is more inland. Do you think that is there a health and well-being aspect to being more inland, or did you choose it for sustainability or location or?
Yes, so we chose this location for several reasons. The main one is because of the natural surroundings and the unspoiled nature of the area. Basically, we are located in an area that is very hilly, that has several rivers crossing it. Waterfalls and so on, and one of the reasons why we really wanted to do this development was because of the sustainability aspects. And so sustainability is not just nature, obviously, it's a lot of other things, but for us it was key that our resort would be located in an area that would be as well integrated into the natural landscape as possible. And the natural landscape surrounding us is really unspoiled, and the views are stunning. And at the same time, we're very near to a city that is not so big, but it still has a lot of things to do there and to go to, or reasons to go to, which is Lolé. And we're merely 25 minutes drive from Faro airport and from all of the beaches nearby, like the ones in Vila Moura, Quinta do Lago, Val do Lobo, and so on.
And how close exactly to Lolé are you?
We are exactly 8 kilometers north of Lolé. So as soon as you leave Lolé, you start going up a hill and then down to a valley, and that's where Ombria Resort is.
It's beautiful. It's a lovely area.
Yeah, thank you.
How important is the sustainability aspect to your resort?
Sustainability is really our main driver, and sustainability for us is everything to do with environmental and social responsibility, as well as using bioclimatic architecture design. It's about using renewable energies. We use solar energy and geothermal energy. We have already built one of the largest geothermal systems in the Iberian Peninsula here. It's also about protecting the local biodiversity, the animals and the plants and so on, and also about keeping and protecting the culture and the heritage of this area. So we have lots of partners in local businesses, for example, which we want to highlight and really help during the operation of the resort. And finally, last but not least, it's about building an open resort, so something that will be integrated with the local community. So we will encourage our owners, our property owners, and the hotel guests to go out and explore and interact with the local community. And we'll also encourage people from the local community either to work in our resort or to simply come and use our facilities if they wish to. And so everything is pieced together by all these different aspects related to sustainability, basically.
Okay, and what facilities will you be will be offered? And as you said, there are obviously to resort guests, but to locals and to.
Yes. So within the resort, we have.
Dr. Paulo, I hope that's not you.
No, that's.
It's not me.
Sorry, João, go ahead.
No, it's me actually. I'm in Lolé, so there's noises around basically. So within the resort, we're building a 5-star hotel, as I mentioned before. So the Viceroy at Ombria Resort Hotel, but we also have a conference center. We have a golf course, an 18-hole golf course, and we also have things like hiking circuits, an organic farm. We'll have beekeeping facilities. So, for example, our owners and the guests in the hotel will be able to do their own honey, and they will also be able to go to the organic farm and use the organic farm as they please.
So that's where I got my
I'm hearing a background noise.
Yes, an interference.
I mean, it's been a solid 10 years now. I started in 2011, and very interestingly.
Okay, it's stopped.
Sorry.
I think that's.
Sorry, João, I don't know what happened there.
No problem. So I was saying, in addition to all the facilities within the hotel and so on, we'll also have things like beekeeping and an organic farm and hiking circuit and so on.
Excellent, excellent. Chitra, if I can just jump onto you there. You obviously made a big decision to come to Portugal and the Algarve in general. What made you make that move? Was it just because you wanted to come with your husband, or why choose the Algarve?
Yes, I did want to be with my husband, obviously.
No, I mean, was it your husband's choice?
I'm just pulling your leg. So the Algarve at that time was full of opportunity. I just finished my MBA at the London Business School, and we were looking at various business opportunities, actually a very early version of Uber Eats. We just didn't have all the stuff around it to make it happen. Medical transcription services being used for legal transcription, etc. We looked at it was the internet boom at the time. But we also saw a couple of projects in the Algarve, and we fell in love with the Algarve. Portugal had been a member of the European Union for 15 years by this point in time. A lot of EU infrastructural funds were being deployed, highways were being built, airports were doubling in capacity, but Portugal was still a relatively, the most undiscovered country in Western Europe. I had never been to Portugal before that, and I was absolutely amazed by the how nice people were. English was widely spoken already at the time, and which is very important for international tourism. And we felt, with these kilometers of white sandy beaches and golf courses, there was a lot of excitement in the Algarve at the time, and we felt the rest of it is a bit of a crazy story, because we jumped from London to Lagos in the Algarve, and we bought a house and we started our business in the garage. That original project that we looked at, that's not what we ended up doing. That is today the Monsanto Resort. But we did a wide due diligence of many projects that were available for us, and we chose to plant our flag in Sagres because it was at the beach. It was a project at the beach. It's an area of immense natural beauty. There's a natural park surrounding it. It's a beautiful promontory, and we felt that we could build our family here as well. So we also moved for lifestyle choice to to a country where the family is really valued, and it's an open, tolerant, liberal society where we felt comfortable to have and raise children. And as I said early on when we were chatting, we had 4 kids here. The original plan was to give it a try for 5 years, and here we are 20 years later. And obviously, until we built and opened our first Martinielle resort in Sagres, we had to face the global financial crisis, the last one, and we had to get out of it. But once we survived that, we had the opportunity to grow our brand. Once we established a brand, and for those of you who don't know Martinielle, it's a hotel brand, 5-star hotel brand, focused on the luxury family segment of the market, and we do that very well. We're a multiple award-winning brand, and once we could prove that we could do this in Sagres, we had the opportunity to expand our brand through acquisitions and looking at non-performing loans, non-performing assets in banks, books, and we chose the expansion very carefully. So it was for business and lifestyle, and we were extremely positively, it met our expectations and more, I would say, the Algarve. We loved living in the Algarve. We lived there for 15 years. Someone's asked here, why did we move to Lisbon? It was time for us to move. We were expanding our projects. We were doing more projects in the Lisbon area. And it was time to move closer to our major investments in Cascais, Central Lisbon, and Parque das Nações. I love Lisbon as a capital city. It's I often say it fits the Goldilocks principle. It's not too big, it's not too small as a capital city. It's just right, easy to navigate around it. So
yeah, and you just mentioned there before that you expanded your brand, and obviously you've expanded to very different areas in the Algarve. Just can you give us a little idea about the different areas of the Algarve, how they are more beneficial to somebody's lifestyle, if you like, or?
Sure. I mean, we chose to expand into Quinta do Lago. I mean, it's a combination of opportunity and building a diverse portfolio, a small portfolio of hotels. So we chose perfectly complementary locations. Sagres is a beach resort. Martinhal Quinta is a golf resort, and there was an opportunity to be in the famous Quinta do Lago. No Irishman needs an introduction to Quinta do Lago, obviously. It's Dennis O'Brien and family that owns the golf courses and the infrastructure there and the restaurants. We were interested in expanding to Quinta do Lago because it was the perfect fit, beach resort, golf resort, surrounded by amazing golf courses and high quality. I mean, they've put, the upkeep has been fantastic. They've, spent even more money on making them beautiful. For me, the big difference, of course, between the Western Algarve and the eastern side of the Algarve, the eastern side has more cities, has more access to, facilities, golf. There are more golf courses there, and the Western Algarve is more remote. It's got the Cape of St. Vincent, which is compared to the Cape of Good Hope by some, Cape Town by some South Africans. It's got the natural park. It's got biking trails and hiking trails. So and for the Irish, actually, many Irish clients have said it's the Achill of the Algarve. Achill, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So it's just simply a beautiful area to live. And we actually lived on resort for 7 years, and the kids had to be, driven to school and back in Porsche in Lagoa. So we had a pretty exciting time there, building our business up. But moving to Lisbon was for business reasons, for the expansion, and it was time for the kids to see a city.
Yeah.
So.
Just to go back to something you mentioned there, is then obviously Sagres is a little bit more remote. As a foreigner, how did you think moving into Sagres, how did you think the lifestyle and the Portuguese community, the language and things like that, how was that for you as being
Gosh, I mean, listen,
Portuguese?
I come from Singapore and we have 4 national languages. So I grew up speaking 3 languages, Tamil, I learned Mandarin at school for 12 years, Chinese, and English. So then I learned some French, some German while I was in London. And so learning Portuguese was exciting. And because I had some French, that helped a lot for me to learn Portuguese. It's still not perfect, but I say I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. It's always work in progress. And the great thing about the Portuguese is they're so nice. They're so nice to you. All you have to say is good day, how are you? Bom dia, como está? Ah, a senhora já fala muito bem português. People say you speak so well, they are very encouraging as a people and very open and tolerant and liberal. So living in Sagres, obviously we had a big business to keep us busy and 4 children. Okay. So we had a very busy time there, and hand on heart, I did not enjoy the beauty perhaps as much as I should have. I wasn't swimming in the ocean every day. I wasn't, surfing.
Well, it's not a holiday, is it?
Yeah. But it's kind of a regret of mine that but it was a very tough time. The global financial crisis was in full swing. Portugal went into bailout in 2011. So, we worked really hard. But for anyone who wants to have a busy time, now people are working from anywhere. It's something which has made people reflect, where do you really want to live? Faro is such a well-connected airport. You can actually live and work in the Algarve, have access to all this amazing sport and wine, great healthcare, golf courses. I would say I spent the most exciting and important 15 years of my life, the time I spent there in the Algarve. And I would not exchange it for anything else.
Excellent. Michael, just to pop over to you, Quinta dos Vales is known as the winemaker experience. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it is very unique to the Algarve. There's nobody in the Algarve that's doing it. How did you come up with that concept, and how did the winemaker experience come about?
Yeah, so a few things there. It is quite unique in the sense that the only competitor we could identify is located in Argentina. So not just the Algarve, not just Portugal, we've got no one else in the Northern Hemisphere who does the same thing as we do. And the reason for that is really quite simple. So it was my dad who founded the wine estate when he retired, I think for his 2nd or 3rd time that time. He came from real estate and oil, and he decided from that point on he was only going to do what he really loved. And so he founded Quinta dos Vales on 2 foundations, which were wine and art. So these days we've got about 150 sculptures and exhibition across the whole estate. So it's one big art exhibition, basically, ranging from 30 centimeters to 7 meters in height. And he's the artist behind about 90% of them. And on the other side, the wine, he came into this not being a specialist in wine production. I mean, he just appreciated wine, and specifically Algarve wine. And year for year, basically, he grew the team up and he put the right people around him so that he could genuinely be the one in control of the whole wine production process and be able to take every decision along the way. I mean, which varieties are we going to plant? How many meters do we leave between the different rows of vines? Up until the origin of the barrel that we can use for aging, the age of the barrel, whether it's a brand new one, a 2nd-year one, and so forth. So basically all the decisions that at the end of the day define what the wine tastes like and how it's going to develop. All of this, it took him about 10 years to put the whole team around him to not only train himself, but train the team to basically, I guess the term is to dumb down the information, to take very technical information and explain it in a way that a non-professional layman can understand it and take that decision. After 10 years of building up the business, we decided, let's share this experience with others. And that's why it's called the winemaker experience, because now we basically replace him in that position with other wine lovers. So they get their own small plot of vineyard, and they are in control of what happens when the grapes are harvested. Those grapes are then processed separately and they end up as their own wine. They take every decision along the way, with us providing the consultancy and actually doing the work.
Excellent. And what all, walk us through an actual experience, and what are all the facilities you offer?
Okay, so the estate itself is quite diverse. I mean, wine and art were two passion projects, and I don't need to tell you, those aren't very profitable passion projects. So from the very beginning, it was clear that the company had to be sustained with other branches. So we've got obviously wine tastings. We host weddings on site. In a non-COVID year, we have somewhere between 20 and 30 weddings on site, and accommodation, so rental out to tourists, like a mini resort, basically.
Okay.
That's how we work, and we're currently growing that operation. So we're adding another 32 semi-detached units currently in construction, about to be finished. Then on the wine experience side, there's the winemaker experience, which we like to say it's not just
to jump in there. I've got a question here for you, saying, what is the purchase cost involved with your own vineyard? Maybe you can maybe answer that direct afterwards, because obviously I would imagine it's very unique to the plot size, the property.
I'll put a link in the chat now for more details, but in short, it's somewhere between 30 and 60,000 euros. So
to make your own wine?
For a plot of vineyard, exactly.
Okay.
So it's a lot to spend for 500 square meters, but it's basically the alternative to buying and building up a whole winery.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
And a question I'm sure everybody wants to know, how hard is it to make wine? We take it for granted when we can buy it so nicely and so cheaply, but how hard is it to actually make it?
Yeah, that's why we like to say that the winemaking experience takes all the positive parts of the experience that my father had, and lets the participant enjoy them, and takes all the negative ones away and delegates them to the team, to us, because it's an incredibly difficult task to make a natural wine. I look at the other agricultural activities, or specifically brewing or production of gin, vodka. I do a lot of these tours just because it interests me. And every time I'm just listening and watching and thinking, when do we get to the difficult part? And it just never comes. Wine is really working with a completely natural product, and that means you have to be both very in control and very reactive, which is why you need such specialized people to do it.
And do you think the Algarve then, with the mix of sunshine and the mix of the rain and things and the soil and the quality effect, does that give you a better grape, rather more so than Alentejo or Lisbon, Tejo region?
Every single wine producer will tell you that their region is the best. But what I can say is my dad's a German. He's a Bavarian by birth. And when he decided that he was going to make his own wine, he didn't just look across Portugal. He looked at the entire world. He had favorite regions in each country. And we were going to move there as a family. I mean, I was very young at the time. But at the end of the day, he had two sort of pre-selections, two finalists, and that was South Africa or the Algarve, which were his two preferred regions. Very different life, very different world, would have been two completely different business models. But he chose the Algarve because of the all-around package. Not just because of the wine you can make there, but the sort of life you have. And now coming to the second generation, I mean, I went to school first in Germany, then I went to university in the UK. Afterwards, I worked in the north of Portugal, sometime in Lisbon. But at the end of the day, I knew I'm going to end up in the Algarve. This is my home, and to date, I found nothing comparable.
Good. And just before I move on, obviously I'll come back, but you have quite a unique business model. What is it?
Yeah.
I
so
love
basically,
this.
with wine and art, we do marketing. We're quite well known. I mean, these days we're basically a cultural reference point in the Algarve. We have about 30,000 visitors per year, and that's before this recent growth spurt that we had. But with wine and art, you don't make any money. So with all the wine tourism around that's how we keep the company alive and profitable, hopefully.
Excellent. Excellent. Dr. Paulo, if I can just jump into you a wee second, as regards, obviously, everybody's mentioned the COVID and the situation, and I'm sure you more than most are sick of hearing that word COVID. But just for people listening, obviously lockdown is at the forefront of people's minds, and the accessibility to surgery, especially in Ireland, is a big no-no at this present moment in time. What obviously from your point of view, what would be an advantage for people to come here and have surgery? How do they do it? And currently, as your service has been affected?
Well, we once the pandemic started in March last year, we had a talk with the local and our national health system and the local supervisors, and we decided that our group would stay a non-COVID hospital group. So we separate a bit the organization. We created triage areas in order to control and to test everyone to was admitted in our hospitals, in order to try to keep them safe and as free from COVID disease while for the patients that would stay with us. Okay, we created a COVID hospital in order to create a cluster hospital so that we can also provide service and attention to people that might need it. But our two main hospitals in the Algarve and one in Madeira would stay non-COVID hospitals. So and it has been like that since the beginning. So we are managing to provide all medical services as a non-COVID hospital. So that allow us to keep all the medical team working, and we have been very safe. Our teams, they have been quite safe, and that allow us to keep working in the general solution for all medical areas. Like in stroke units are working 100%, cancer units are working 100%. We did about last year we did about 60,000 emergency appointments in the hospital. We did about 10,000 surgeries last year in our two main hospitals in the Algarve. So we are working 100%. We have no lockdown in the medical area, so we didn't shut down any services. We reduced a bit during April and May last year because we didn't know. Everyone was very afraid, very scared of how it would go, and we were finding difficulty finding the equipment and all the needs to work with all the safety. But once we were able to put all that together, we just kept doing our normal assistance, and it has been like that since May, and it still is. The Algarve has been a very protected area regarding Europe. We were up to January, we were one of the areas in Europe with low percentage of disease in Europe, which was quite safe and quite we were very happy that we could keep it like that, and for everyone in the Algarve it was very safe. Unfortunately, Christmas and New Year's and the fact that people didn't cope with the recommendations that the medical society and the government did, and also associated with these new variants of the COVID disease, which are more aggressive in terms of dissemination and in terms of aggressiveness. So we struggle a bit for 1 month and 1 month and a half, but now the figures are already going down, and the number of admitted persons in our with COVID disease in our hospital, it's going down. So it's safe. Actually, we in the Algarve we started to receive patients from other areas from Portugal, because we were able to manage and to take care of patients from Lisbon that were not getting the enough care there. So it was the national system was enough to take care of the needs of the region, and we kept giving all the attention and all the medical care for all the needs in non-COVID patients. So it's still very safe, and we can do it. for foreigners who want to are waiting for surgeries or which are needing to have some kind of medical treatment, if it's appointments, tests, whatever. It's we are working 100%. I will share our website. You can book. You can even get a video appointment, which you can discuss any case with any of our doctors. And if you're interested in any kind of surgery, we are working 100% with no waiting list.
Just my next question is, what is your waiting list? Because in Ireland, I mean, a lot of people waiting surgery have just been told they're not having it now, or it's a 2 to 3 year waiting list. So for, as regards cancer patients or people needing hip replacements or anything really, is a massive problem at home. So is your waiting list, as you said, is it? It's zero.
Well, we don't have waiting lists. So we book patients normally within 2 weeks after we see the patient, or within 1 week, depending on the situations, depending on the preparation for the surgery. But we don't have any waiting list at the moment in any of our hospitals in the Algarve. So it's and we accept all kinds of medical insurance. We work with all international medical insurance, European and non-European. So, and they know us. So majority of them are very, very used to work with the HPA group. We are actually one of the reference hospitals for BUPA in Portugal. We are accredited by Joint Commission International, so we have our standards, and our practice is very well monitored by international community, which give us the standard of quality. And we are Green Hospital. We have 2001 accreditation and 14,001 accreditation for health and environment concern. We have 2 electrical plants in both our hospitals, so a lot of our energy is produced by sun, and we have a lot of concern about garbage management and all of that. So it's quite a unique unit regarding all of those attentions.
So now, as regards to somebody wanting to come here for treatment or surgery, obviously they need to have private medical insurance or travel insurance. Yes. But for initial consultation, as you said, you can do that via video call. Do they have to register with their private medical insurance before they do that, or could they contact you first?
No, they can contact us first, and we can arrange. It's a normal appointment. It's not an expensive appointment, and if they have an insurance back home, they can do it with their own insurance, because they normally cover here in Portugal also.
Yeah, just a question that popped up there. Does Irish private health insurance, is that covered under private healthcare in Portugal?
Normally, we have agreement with a lot of. We have to confirm, of course, and they have to confirm with. It depends on the policies that every patient have. But normally, we have agreement with most of the international insurance companies that work in Ireland.
I'll just actually jump in there, actually, because I have private medical healthcare here in Portugal, and I actually got sick a couple of years ago, and I happened to be in Portugal, and the service and the treatment, obviously, it was second to none, and obviously find out what was wrong. I flew home and I had my surgery in Ireland, but I had my recovery and my treatment and my follow-up here in Portugal, and it was not a problem. I didn't have to split with a penny. The NHS and my doctors in Ireland very much worked with the private system here. So yes. It's very easy, and especially when you're sick, it's a stress you don't need. So
yes. And actually, we are developing a tool that helps a lot to deal with that, because we develop a tool. It's an application that you can get from Google Play or Apple, and it's basically an application that you download, and you can get access to all your medical information that it's within our hospital. So even if you do a test here and you want to go back home and you want your own doctor to have a second opinion or discuss with another doctor anywhere in Europe, you can always take your tests and your medical information with you. And it's available.
Yeah, my question is is it all in Portuguese? Because I know the Irish don't speak very much Portuguese.
Yes, some of them are in Portuguese, but we can, if requested, we can change that. We can translate them. Our basic language is Portuguese, of course, but medical reports, and if it's necessary, we can translate them. We have a team that does the translation for English.
You have an app that's coming out in the future though that will do it on will actually translate to English, won't it?
Yes, the app now is basically in Portuguese, but it will be available very soon in all language. Well, at least in English and in French, it will be available in a very short phase.
Good. And what about recovery options in the Algarve? Do you think the Algarve lifestyle and the culture and the weather and everything, does that provide a better, it stops people from getting sick, but obviously helps their lifestyle and their recovery after surgery? Do you feel the Algarve obviously contributes to a speedier recovery?
Well, it's basically sunny almost almost all year, and we have a very good experience in a lot of patients with really severe diseases that live here or have houses here. Even patients, we have a lot of experience with cancer patients, for instance, who are doing 6 months of chemotherapy. Sometimes they have houses here in Portugal. They start their chemotherapy programs in their own countries, but then they want to, especially during the winter, they want to move to a more sunny place where they can enjoy. And because with chemotherapy, you do it once a month or twice a month. You don't have to do it every day. And they bring their own programs. We are in contact with their own doctors. They come here to Portugal. We do the same type of treatments that they would do in their own countries. It's basic protocols. They are standardized all around the world, and they can enjoy more because it's more sunny. They go out more. They have a very good team of nurses and doctors which can keep in contact not only here, but which can be in contact with their own doctors in their own countries, so they don't feel lost, so that they can keep with the same strategy that was defined initially, but with better conditions. They go and walk around, do golf, do almost a very healthy life. So fantastic also is our food, as some of us have already experienced.
Yeah, somebody just commented, does it make a difference of how much of Michael's wine you drink? Does that aid your recovery?
Actually, wine has some very good properties in reducing free radicals of oxygen, which is something that we know that it's very important in the appearance of some diseases, in some cancers. So not too much wine is quite good.
I'd just like to pipe in there to say that, I was a client, my family was looked after by HPA, and, we've only had good experience. They have a network of clinics throughout the Algarve, for primary care. And, my mother, who didn't speak any Portuguese at the time, had an emergency surgery in Alvor with Dr. Sousa himself, actually, at that point. And my husband had an emergency surgery too. And, one thing is planned surgeries, but the emergency surgeries went impeccably well. They were very well looked after. And I had my children with them as well. There are private insurance brokers here. We work with Medal. If somebody needs to be put in touch with them, they provide an excellent service. And, private healthcare insurance is actually quite affordable here in Portugal. So I just wanted to pipe in there. And
yeah, just on a personal note, Dr. Paulo, do you feel the Algarve lifestyle contributes to a better health in general, better for your health in general?
Well, yes, I think there are several reasons why I believe our general health is better in the Algarve. We there is only one area which it's more dangerous. It's sun exposure. So we must be very careful with skin tumors and skin cancers, because the sun it can be very hard and very intense, and ultraviolet exposure it's very high. So protection is needed sometimes. But besides that, we have more sun exposure that is very important regarding our cortisol levels and makes you feel more happy. So it's a very important issue in our daily life. And also I believe there's a combination between good weather. The air is very pure, so it's the pollution levels are very, very low here in the Algarve. The beaches, they are very, very clean. We have very good the water system, all the system of sewers, everything is very well controlled. So in terms of general health, it's very well controlled. In terms of food intake and variety of food, it's incredible. The amount of fish that you can eat, all so it's very you don't need to eat every day the same thing. It's quite fantastic, the options that you have. And there's a lot of promotion of health. So it's not just treatment. We are also focusing a lot in promoting health, avoiding diseases, trying to live better lives. And we actually developed a new product. It's called Longevity. It's a new hotel that we opened. It's not just a hotel, we call it a health hotel, and it's basically a place to promote health, to where you can balance your lifestyle. You can find solutions to change habits, to change behaviors, with a very good team of assistants that can help you do that.
Perfect. I think for me, obviously coming from Ireland, it's one of the biggest thing I find is you can go to the beach, or you can go to down by the sea, and 2 seconds later you just go into the fish markets and fish, or to find an array of fish that you just don't see anywhere else. And yes. Oh, well, I have this today, well, I have that today. You don't have to sort of pre-plan or think like we do in Ireland, to put, go to the supermarket and buy a week's long food, whereas here it's just okay. I might have squid today, I might have sole tomorrow, I might do a barbecue and have sardines. I think the concept and lifestyle of that, that you're not sort of stuck at home doing the same yes. thing day in, day out, especially for me, makes a massive lifestyle change. And it wants to get you out more. You don't have to come home from work at 5 o'clock, cook dinner, put the kids to bed and go to sleep yourself. You can walk the beach. You do have the climate and everything to sort of obviously alter that. João, if I just come to you, because you've worked in various countries, but personally for you, what is the lifestyle in the Algarve? How does that give you a more healthy and balanced?
Yes, well, I was born in the US actually, but I was raised in Portugal.
We won't hold that against you.
Thank you. I was raised in Portugal, and then when I got to about 18 years old, I decided to move away from Portugal. So I went to live in places like Belgium and the UK. Then I eventually got back to Portugal, and then decided to go out again. I went to live in Morocco for a few years. And then when I came back about 4 years ago, I came back to the Algarve. And I had been in the Algarve, and I had spent holidays here in the Algarve for many years with my parents, and then as an adult later in my life. But I think the Algarve has by far the best quality of life of the places that I've lived in before, obviously, And I think the quality of life in the Algarve is a conjunction of factors, such as, the security and the infrastructure, but also the climate, obviously, and the fact that it's a low density populated area. So I think in addition to what Dr. Paulo already mentioned, the benefits for health of living in the Algarve, I think the low density aspect is an additional one, I would say. And that has also meant that a lot of people, and we've noticed that in the past year or so, a lot of people have decided to come and live in the Algarve. Those who already had homes here in the Algarve decided to come and spend the lockdowns here in the Algarve. We've noticed that because we see them around in supermarkets and so on. Although people are in lockdown, mostly at home, you can see that they go to supermarkets. And when the restaurants were open during the summer, you could see them out in restaurants and enjoying, the outside, basically, the outdoors. And we've also noticed a lot more people doing activities outside, like hiking and mountain biking and so on and so forth. Here in the Algarve, the amount of bikes that have been sold and the amount of bike shops that there are in and around Lolé specifically, they completely sold out of all the bikes they had during the last lockdown, and still they are selling bikes that more than ever before, basically. And I am very much into that outdoor lifestyle. So I love hiking, I love mountain biking, I love going to the beach on walks and so on. My kids, they go surfing on the beach, they love the lifestyle, and so do I. And I like this outdoor lifestyle that the Algarve enables us to have.
Yeah, João, just while I have you, I have a question here from Brian. How will you factor in the scarcity of water resource here in the Algarve with your development?
Yes, so our golf course is going to be the only golf course to be open for the past 10 years here. So there hasn't been another golf course in the Algarve to be open now. So when our golf course opens in 2022, it will be also one of the most environmentally certified golf courses that have ever been designed and built in Portugal. And we have been able to do that because we are employing, let's say, the latest environmental techniques. Water, of course, is a concern for us, as is for everyone. One of the things that we decided to do on this golf course is to have planted areas with grass that are on average about 30% less than a classical golf course. Also, in terms of the design, we have a clever system that basically retrieves all the rainwater that falls either on the golf course itself or around it, like in the properties, in the hotel and so on. And all of that water goes to a lake, a man-made lake that we have built. And that is basically our water reserve. And our water reserve has enough water to water the golf course for many, many months. So that is, a few of the ways that we have addressed the water shortage in the Algarve for the golf course.
Okay, Michael, if I can just pop back to you and ask you the same question. How do you feel the Algarve benefits you in a balanced lifestyle and obviously health and wellness, you personally?
Well, really, like I said, it's one of the main reasons why I've never found a place anywhere in the world like it. I'm really not tempted to go anywhere else, which is a bit sad for somebody my age. But yeah, I've been around, and this is the good balance. So I can have a work week where I do, my 60-hour week, and then on the weekend or on a Sunday, I have all the opportunities in the world. I can just give the examples of friends of mine. I mean, quite a few of my friends live in London and that grew up here, and they still have either their own houses or family houses here in the Algarve. Some spent months, or almost half a year of their lockdown here and really just were able to, work half a day and then do go cycling, go surfing, whatever else they wanted to. We're a bit spoiled for choice because we're used to it, having lived here for a while, but just having that opportunity makes all the difference in the world.
And Chitra, for you?
I mean, absolutely. Remember, I moved from London, and London was great, for that time of my life, in my 20s, and it was great to work there in the city of London. But having, once we moved here and we had kids, and just being able to have that, you know, a breath of fresh air out in, you know, sunshine, you know, blue skies. It's just, you can't compare that to another place, really. And it's just so much easier with the children, because once you have children, it's the next challenge, right? You need to keep them entertained, and it's just so much easier here. You can practice so many sports. You know, I tried to pick up surf. I've done a few surf lessons and bodyboarding lessons, and you know, you have surf schools. You've got, if you want to pick up golf, you want to make a big life change. I can't think of a better place. And the government has also invested, you know, in these biking and hiking paths, you know, which connect Ecovia and the hiking path that goes down from Lisbon down to the Algarve. It is you know, you can't compare it. And the Algarve has the best weather in Portugal. There is just no doubt. I mean, if anyone's been to Porto, you can clearly see the difference. Porto's weather is definitely closer to England's weather than you know, the Algarve's weather. So yeah, I used to call it you know, the California of Europe, Portugal. But now I would say it's better than the California of Europe, because, you know, we see the problems, especially during the 4 years before the current administration. You know, we had people leaving California to come here. So I think we are really at that point where the Algarve is being discovered. Portugal is being discovered. It is still the most undiscovered country in Western Europe. The same as when I arrived here. So
just from a parent's point of view, obviously children have a lot more advantages here with the outdoors and the activities and everything that is available. Yeah. Do you think that's very important for your child, you know, for a child's as they grow up, as they transform their, you know, for their confidence or their...
Absolutely. Confidence, definitely. I mean, doing sport has many benefits, as we all know, team sport especially, and we're in the country of football. You know, we just signed for our international school in Lisbon an agreement with Sporting Football Club to bring their academy there. There are lots of opportunities throughout the Algarve for kids to, you know, football schools, or you could join the local club. You know, that's a great experience as well. Tennis, paddle tennis, horse riding, golf. And you know, for children, development of confidence, it's a society which really values children as well. And that's a very important thing to say. I mean, I've said it's an open, tolerant, liberal society. Obviously, I'm a person of color, and that's a very important point for me. And I'm, you know, it's you know, seldom, I've rarely faced racism, you know, compared to other countries. In Portugal, people are very open, welcoming of other cultures. And for children, I mean, they value children so much. Actually, it was we came here as a couple, and having children was a huge icebreaker, because the Portuguese just love children so much that, you know, they're like so interested in your family. And they feel, definitely, I would say the kids growing up here are more confident, because you know, I don't see the bullying in school. Bullying is immediately quelled. They are looked after, and people look at, you know, kids look out for each other. So I would say my children have had a fantastic time being born and growing up here in Portugal. And yeah, I mean, and the Algarve, because it's been open to foreigners for such a long time, has sort of a string of international schools across the Algarve, from Luge all the way up to Lolé. So there's a wide choice of, you know, places to settle down for people who want their kids to go into an international school, and it's affordable compared to many other places. And there's the public system as well, and that's a quick way to get your child to learn Portuguese, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dr. Paulo, just to jump into you there, do you feel that the lifestyle and obviously the balanced lifestyle and obviously the climate, the culture, everything combined, do you think that helps as regards the mental health aspect of people, both in adults and in children?
Well, definitely. And even speaking for myself, I used to work in Lisbon. I'm not from the Algarve. My family is originally from Madeira, so I'm from the island. And we moved to Lisbon a long time ago. I lived in almost 20 years in Lisbon, no more. And so it was around 12, 13 years that I decided to move from the Algarve. I was working a lot in Lisbon. I was teaching in university, working in a lot of places. And the idea of coming to the Algarve is also for myself. It was to try to have a more regular life, so that you can enjoy more family and try to have not to be locked down in 2 hours a day in the traffic, and try to be able to merge all these the needs, and be able to do what you do and enjoy what you do, and still enjoy a bit of the good weather, all the good things that the Algarve has to offer, and that you can do. That's one of my main jobs. I'm the medical director of the group, is try to convince doctors to come and work in the Algarve also. So it's a big part of my life, is to assure that we have all the right teams and the staff which is prepared and able to deal with the advances, technology, try to bring innovation into our hospitals in order to keep the standard and to keep the level of service that we want to provide, which is equal as if you are in any other European hospital. And I can assure it's not hard, because normally they are a bit resistant, because Algarve is still, it's not that far, but it's not that close to Lisbon. So when someone has to move to the Algarve, also as a doctor, you have to bring family, the kids, and everyone. So it's quite a big change for them.
But I think it's a mental thing, Dr. Sousa. Sorry
yes.
to. It's only 2 hours. You know, Albufeira is only 2 hours from Lisbon. If you're at the right
Yes.
end of Lisbon, there's 2 bridges from Lisbon. I mean, in America, people drive to get a pint of milk. You know, sometimes a couple of hours. So it's at the highways are amazing. I mean, that's another thing to say. I
Yes.
know Ireland. I've driven around Ireland as well, and here, you know, you've got. It sounds remote, but you know, the highways that connect the north to the south are really amazing. They've done a great job with that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, literally from either Vasco da Gama Bridge or 25th of April Bridge, it's 2 hours to the Algarve. And then if you want to go to either end, it takes, you know, a half an hour more. So it's not, we're not talking, you know.
No, it's true. But just to confirm that, we have now about 700 doctors working with us. And I would say 85% of them, they came from Lisbon or Porto or Coimbra. And with these, almost zero went back to their own places. So everyone that comes here ends up by love being here, and they don't want to go back.
Yeah, just a question on that, Dr. Paulo. I have a lady here asking, to be a nurse for the HPA, she's obviously fluent in English. Is that enough, or do you have to be fluent in Portuguese and English to get a job?
Well, you have it's easy within the European community. The only thing you need to do, you need to apply to the Portuguese Nurse Council to get accredited in Portugal also. There is free circulation of workers within the European community, but still you need to be able to speak some Portuguese to get the accreditation here.
Okay, Michael, just to pop back to you, I'm just conscious of the time for everybody as well, so I'm just going to sort of ask a few wrap-up questions, and then obviously try to answer as many chat questions as well. Obviously, you're part of the Ireland Portugal Business Network. Do you feel having a network group in the Algarve is very beneficial? Do you think it's essential to obviously, you know, for work and obviously for personal in the Algarve?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm very impressed. I'm neither Irish nor Portuguese, but and this is the only business network that I'm a part of. just because it seems to be less about socializing and clapping each other on the back and more about actually getting people together and establishing contacts. So I'm glad that we joined, and I'll make the decision again.
Good. And what is the future for Quinta dos Vales?
The future for Quinta dos Vales, we're basically just accelerating the direction which we've already been heading organically, which is moving away from the classical business model of we produce wine, we sell wine. We're going more and more in direction of specialization and customization. So the first step is obviously the winemaker experience, where you know, we're not just showing, but we're letting people participate in their own production. We like to say it's not the combination of tourism and agriculture, it's the integration. And sorry, and the final step for us, or the next big step, we basically want to turn Quinta dos Vales into a proper resort. Try and replicate what is well established, what Chitra has done very well in Quinta do Lago, create a resort around a hobby, around a pastime. With golf, it's a well-established business model. With wine, not so much, but we see a lot of potential there because the same sort of love and borderline fanaticism that golf players have for golf, wine lovers also have for wine. So we have about, end of this year, we'll have 50 rooms, so capacity for 100 people on site. Some of them actually live there even the year round. This number is small but growing. And we're going to be expanding all of those sectors because at the end of the day, what we're doing is replacing sea view or golf course view with vineyard views.
Okay. And can people just come for like a day trip to have a tour around the vineyard, or can they, you know, is it more sort of a business model, if you like, or is it open to the public as well?
Completely. I mean, right now we're closed. Everyone's closed, but usually it's a completely open gate. So literally an open gate. We have people that literally just walk around and take a view of the different sculpture exhibitions that we have on site. Sometimes we have the local schools come with the young kids and they just do a lap, bring a juice pack and then go leave again. Most, or I'd say 99% of people who show up will then do a wine tasting or participate in some sort of activity. But yeah, we're completely open. It's literally an open gate policy.
Excellent. And what advice would you give to people looking to move here?
Do it. I mean, that's as easy as it comes. I can just say that my personal experience, I'm coming back, but my parents, they came here for a week's holiday, their very first time, coming to Portugal back in 96. They wanted to spend a week on holiday here. On the second day, they fell in love and decided they're going to move here. On the third day, they chose the house, and on the fourth day, they had purchased and moved into that house. Wow. They still live here, and they're going to die here, as am I.
Excellent. João, just to pop over to you, really the same questions. What do you feel having a networking, like the Ireland Portugal Business Network or other networks in business, do you think that's a major help, or is it essential?
For our business, you mean? Yes,
yeah.
I think so. Yes, we are members of 2 or 3 different networking groups like this one. I feel this one is currently very active, and I love it. And but yes, we'll continue to be a part of it, and because I feel it helps our business. It puts us in touch with lots of different people that we wouldn't otherwise have had the possibility of being in touch with.
Perfect. And what is the future for your resort?
So the next big step is to open the hotel and the golf course. The hotel has 76 rooms, 65 branded apartments that we are selling as to individual investors, these 65 apartments. And the hotel also has 5 restaurants, the golf clubhouse, a conference center, a kids club, a spa, an astronomical observatory, and other few things. So our next step is to open this hotel and the golf course with all these facilities in 2022. And then there will be other phases of property development to be sold and to be built over a period of approximately 10 years. So yeah, so we still have a lot to do.
Yeah, and any advice you'd give to people who are considering to move to Portugal?
Same as Michael's, do it as soon as possible. It's, you know, if you want to enjoy the lifestyle here in the Algarve, and if you are an outdoor person, then, you know, do it.
Perfect. And Chitra, just to come back to you on the same questions, you know, how do you find obviously you're a massive company, and obviously you've branched out again into Lisbon. How do you feel that networking and bodies such as the Ireland-Portugal Business Network actually is a benefit to you?
Yeah, I mean, networking is essential in business life and personal life. If you're building, you know, contacts in a new community, it's crucial. And, you know, the Ireland-Portugal Business Network has been great, you know, helping us promote our projects, our properties to new networks. And yeah, I mean, we belong to different you know, networking groups. You know, I'm the president of EO Portugal. EO is an entrepreneurs organization, global entrepreneurs organization with 1 million+ businesses. So, and it's crucial. It's not just to network, but it's a sort of support system. You know, you talk to each other about your problems. You know, especially in these times. You know, it's crucial that you understand psychologically that other people are going through the same thing. You know, the difficulties, and, you know, solutions actually come out of that. When you talk to someone about, you know, someone in a similar business or another business, you find solutions for your business. So crucial. And I love being part of the IPBN. I love Ireland. So, you know, it's an honor to be part of the IPBN.
Perfect. And finally, what would be your advice for people considering to move?
Just do it. I mean, that's what we did. We, you know, at that time, 20 years ago, it was a crazy move. People, you know, were wondering what we were going to do. Now it should be a much easier decision. There's so much infrastructure. The Algarve is a much more developed place. You know, Portugal is a beautiful country. You know, much awaits you. You just gotta make the move and come. You know, it's not far, you know, from Ireland. You can take a flight and do a recce visit after COVID's over, obviously, and talk to a lot of people. I mean, Ireland, I think, knows Portugal really well and knows the Algarve really well. So I would say, you know, it's important that you know, just do it.
And finally, just what is the future for the Martinielle group?
Oh yeah, so I spoke about our Martinhal Residences project in Park of Nations. It's one of the best areas in Lisbon to live in, riverside living, and we're thankfully 60%, you know, more than 60% sold off plan already in the 160 apartments. So that's a good position to be in. We even sold in this last 12 months, which is almost a miracle, you know, 25 properties. For now, we're building out the Edu Hub. We've opened the school. It's a very good international school, the United Lisbon International School. And we're building out the rest of the education hub, trying to attract large tech companies to make their seat in Lisbon. So I welcome you all to come and visit us in Lisbon after you've moved to the Algarve or before.
And Dr. Paulo, just to come back to you, what healthcare services can people take advantage of as becoming a resident in Portugal or coming to move here in Portugal? What would be the main advantages that you would say healthcare services that are available?
Well, you can here in Portugal, you can get the very high standard medical care that you can get in any as in any country. The same the protocols, the technology, it's available, and we have doctors with a lot of expertise. Actually, the Portuguese doctors, they are very looked around in Europe. If you send a resume to any hospital in Europe, they will take you, because it's the medical formation in Portugal is very, very good. In terms of the Algarve region, it's this accessibility that you have here. It's very good. You can get very easily in contact with almost any doctor and any medical specialty. You don't have any waiting lists for any kind of procedure, and you can have from heart surgery to neurosurgery, all kinds of procedures. You can do it here. So it's even child delivery, in vitro fertilization. So all kinds of areas. We have solutions for all of that. And basically, like Chitra said, we have a network of clinics which provide you your local doctor very close to your home, so you don't need to go to the hospital to get the medical counseling. You can do it in a very close clinic close to your area, even in Alentejo. And the hospital is organized within the same network system. So if you are in Portugal and if you go to Madeira and you have a problem, if you go to our hospital, your medical file is available at any second within all our hospitals. So it's very easy to share information and to keep up with your medical records and with your medical history within our network. It's very easy and very open to our patients.
Perfect. And on a personal note, what advice would you give people either considering Algarve for surgery or for people deciding to come and move here permanently?
Well, for surgery, they just have to share with us what are their needs, and we can. There's in the internet, in our webpage, there's a health tourism page where you can look and you can find the more information in case you need at www.hbagroup.com. I think Nuno has already shared the link for our website. And for living here, it's I think it's important to have some kind of insurance plan. I'm a doctor. I have an insurance plan, also a private insurance plan for any need. Because the national health system it works. It tries to provide, but in so many countries it's a bit underpaid, and it's quite some needs in the national system, and he has been struggling to deal with all these pandemic that he had to face. So it's I would definitely recommend to have an insurance plan, a private insurance plan, if you come to live to Portugal.
Perfect. I'm just conscious, as I say, of the time. I just have a couple of little announcements to make, and then Arnold, if you can maybe check if I've missed any of the questions, and then maybe the panel can answer them just at the very end. But first of all, thank you all very, very much for taking the time to be with us today. I know you are very busy despite lockdown, but I think the participants and everybody got so much useful information. Thank you also to our sponsors for supporting the Algarve Living Series. Each of the speakers that spoke today have got a short video of their businesses, which Arnold will email out, and it will be available on the website algarvelivingseries.com, so you can find out a little bit more about them. If you would like to contact them on a one-to-one basis or like any more information, they're all available for that. And if you have any other follow-up questions or emails, please feel free to send it through to the Ireland Portugal Business Network as well. The next webinar is on the 25th of February, and it is focused on financial packages. I do know we had a couple of questions on that today, but it's the financial packages and wealth management, which is available in the Algarve. Plus, it includes your pensions, wealth management, the NHR regime. So following from this, if you have decided to make the move, our next webinar is probably very beneficial for you. The fourth series is on March the 10th, and it's related to property and business. So again, it's the whole series is designed for you to do the transformation as easily, as safely as possible. There's no need to register for any of the future events. All the Zoom access codes will be sent to you by Arnold before the next event. But if you do need any more information, please contact www.algarveseries.com or the Ireland Portugal Business Network. If there's anything, I'm sure any of our panel of speakers today can help you with, I'm sure they'd be delighted to. Or if you want to know any more about the resorts, please get in touch. And of course, any questions for ourselves from the Ireland Portugal Business Network, please feel free to get in touch. But again, thank you, Michael, João, Chitra, Dr. Paulo, for your time. Any last words that you have, please feel free. And Arnold, if you can just check if I missed any questions.
No, that's all good. You you went through all the questions. Maybe there are one or two, but we'll get back. And I thought it was really good and very informative. So thank you, everybody, the guest speaker and the audience. Thank you very much. And see you at the next one.
Yeah. Any last final words from the panel?
See you soon in the Algarve.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
We're waiting for you.
All the best. Yeah.
All the best.
All the best.